In this example, we have been given the graph that would be the graph of some inequality. Our job in this situation is to now decide what would the inequality be that would have this solution set. I'll begin by first finding the equation for the line and then worrying about the shading. I'm going to hope to be able to use the slope-intercept form for this line. So I'll begin by thinking about just the equation of the line. To find the equation of the line, I need to know both the slope and the y-intercept. I can quickly look over at the graph and see that the graph does have a y-intercept of 0, -1. So that tells me for the equation, the b value is going to be -1. To find the slope, I look for a second point on my graph, and I find one over at 2, 4, and I can use the graph to count out the slope. By starting over at 0, -1, I can see I would need to go right 2 units and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units, so that gives me a slope of 5/2. Rise of 5, run of 2. I can now return back to my equation and replace the m in the equation with the slope that we've just counted out from the graph, 5/2. The only thing left to do now is to replace the equation with some inequality. Now there are two things to take into account. Is it a greater than or is it a less than? And separately, is it an or equal to? Well, for any given point on the graph, I see that the shading is below that particular point, so that tells me that this is going to be a less than inequality. Because we have a solid line, that tells me the inequality is going to be or equal to. So the inequality that has this graph as its solution set would be y is less than or equal to 5/2 x minus 1.